नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय। हर नमः पार्वती पतये, हर हर महादेव, शंभो शंकर। बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। विवेक चूड़ामणि मंगलाचरण श्लोक। सर्ववेदांत सिद्धांत गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्, सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। Yesterday we were discussing those who are bound by so many kinds of attachments. They will be taking so many births again and again. They will be going through the cycle of birth and death. Sloka number 75. Let us chant together. ययेषु मूढा विषयेषु बद्धाः रागोरुपाशेन सुदुर्दमेन आयान्ति निर्यान्त्यधमूढ्वमुच्चैः स्वकर्मदूतेन जीवेन नीताः। स्वकर्मदूतेन जीवेन नीताः. Because of their own past karmas, they will be going through so many births. Ayanti, niryanti, coming and going. What is the cause of all these things? Ragoru pashena sudurdhamena baddhaha. Because they are bound by the ropes of attachments. Those are very difficult to cut asunder. These sense objects are very powerful. They will be all the time binding that person and causing sorrow to that person. Sloka number 76, yesterday we have seen this one. Each and every creature is having one or another weakness. These Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, these are sense objects all the time will be pulling that person, attracting that person and causing sorrow, sometimes causing death also. Shabdadibhi panchabhirev pancha panchatvamapu swagunena baddhaham kuranga matanga patanga meena bhrunganara panchabhiranchitah kim. Kuranga, matanga, patanga, meena, bhrunga, all these creatures, because of their own weaknesses, attraction towards the Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, they are dying because of this weakness. Then what to talk about the human being, one who is having attachment with all five. Naraha panchabihi anchitaha kim. So the seeker of truth, he should be very alert. He should be very careful in this world when he is perceiving sense objects. That same thought is continuing in the next sloka also. It is said, the Vishayas are so powerful, even dangerous than poison. दोषेण तीव्रो विषयः, दोषेण तीव्रो विषयः कृष्णसर्पविषादपि, कृष्णसर्पविषादपि विषं निहन्ति भोक्तारम्, विषं निहन्ति भोक्तारम् द्रष्टारं चक्षुषाप्ययम्, द्रष्टारं चक्षुषाप्ययम्. दोषेण तीव्रः विषयः. Doshena means by its evil effects. Dosha, dosha means imperfection, evil. or defect. Doshena, by its evil effects. Tivra means intensified. Tivra, more intense. Vishayaha, sense objects, Shabda Sparsha, etc. Krishna Sarpa Vishad Api. Krishna Sarpa means the black serpent, the black cobra. Krishna Sarpa Vishad Api. Visha, poison. Then the poison of cobra, Api, even Visham, means these sense objects are more dangerous than poison. Why? Because Visham, the poison, Nihanti, it will kill. Nihanti means kills. The poison kills the person. Bhoktaram, one who will takes it, one who will swallow it, then only that poison will kill that person. But when it comes to the sense objects, these are so powerful. Drastaram chekshusha api ayam nihanti. We have to take that word, nihanti. Drastaram means one who looks. Just one who looks at that one. Even looking at that one also, chekshusha, by the eyes. Here, chekshusha means we have to take by the eyes and listening that sound, tasting, etc. Api, even ayam. Ayam means this. This Vishaya is so powerful. Just by looking at it will kill that person. Why Shankaracharya is saying like this? Vishaya is more dangerous than Visha. Because Vishayas are such, they are having such kind of power in them. When the person is not alert enough, when the person is not having discriminative power, when once the person is attracted towards them, they will make that person as a slave, completely bounded. And afterwards, how much that person may be trying to come out from that kind of thing, whatever habituated, addicted, it's very difficult for him. Here, Krishna Sarpa Vishadapi. Krishna Sarpa is a very dangerous and poisonous snake, serpent, that cobra. When other snakes will bite the person, after some time the person will die. But this Krishna Sarpa is so powerful. If person is bitten by this kind of cobra, the person will die immediately. Very poisonous. And proper medicine also will not be available. Vishaya, one ya is extra in that one. Visha and Vishaya. That ya is like yama only, death only. We will see the few examples why Vishayas are powerful, dangerous than poison. In our Purana and Itihasic stories, if we see, in Bhagavata, you might have heard this story of Ajamila Upakhyanam. That Ajamila, once he went to forest to collect flowers and samidas, he born in such wonderful kind of noble family, higher family. From the childhood onwards, he had good samskaras, but once when he went to that forest and collecting flowers, fruits, etc., while coming back to the home, on the way, he saw one kind of drishya, one scene that which is not good, means one lady, bad lady was there. So when he saw such kind of scene, the impression created in his mind, And he also wanted to get such kind of happiness from her. Afterwards, he left the house and he went to that place, that which is not good place at all for such kind of noble person. Slowly what happened, that Drushya created such kind of hesitation in his mind. He left home, he went there, and he started living with her there only. He left all his anusthana, his japa, tapa, everything, swadhyaya. He became such kind of what you call very, I cannot use even that word, like a dusta purusha. He used to even steal others' things and money, etc., and completely addicted to so many kinds of things. He forgot what is the purpose of life. So many years passed like that only. At the end of his life, he came to know, he realized what mistake committed by him. And at that time, in old age, he started remembering Bhagavan. Of course, Bhagavan is so compassionate. Finally, Bhagavan blessed him. But how many years wasted in his life because of one scene, one drushya, that which should not be seen. He saw that, and that Vishaya, here the word is no, it's Vishaya is more dangerous than Visha, poison. So that one scene created negative impression in his mind, and he left everything and became such kind of dusta purusha, filled with all kinds of negativities in his mind. And yesterday we have seen in Telugu, the Ravana, even though he knew so many things said in the scriptures, he himself did tapas, penance, great tapasvi. He's a great Shiva Bhakta also, great Shiva Bhakta. But what happened? When he heard from his sister Surpanaka, she came and she narrated this what happened when she went to Ramji, Lakshmiji and Sitaji. When she said, I have seen such kind of beautiful lady on this earth. I have never seen such kind of lady. When that Ravana just heard that Vishaya created desire in his mind, and afterwards what happened, all of us we know, entire family is destroyed because of one person's mistake, because of that Vishaya heard by him once. Kauravas also, because of the desire for pleasures, Vishaya Bhoga only, they want to rule over the kingdom, they want to enjoy all royal pleasures. Because of that, what happened? Adharma. They could not be peaceful. So in our lives also, we have to be very, very careful. Whenever Vishayas are there, whatever we are seeing, whatever we are listening, whatever we are receiving, all those things will create impressions in our mind. If all those impressions, means negative impressions are there, sometimes we may be thinking, hey, what is there is just by seeing and listening, what will happen? But after a few days, few months, or after even few years, after few lives also, few births also, the impression will come out and it will cause the sorrow, bondage. Yayati story you might have heard, Pururava Chakravarti story you might have heard in Bhagavad, etc. So Vishaya is very powerful. We have to be careful. Vishaya means that which binds the person. Vishinbanti badnant iti Vishaya. Vishaya, the definition itself is such that which binds the person, that which causes sorrow to the person. Then when we are listening all these things, we may be thinking, how we can all the time close our eyes, ears, all these things. Is it possible? Not at all perceiving the sense objects, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Because we have sense organs and sense objects are available. They are all the time in the world. Whether we want it or not, they will enter into our system. What should be done? We cannot sit all the time in the house and we cannot close all our senses. It's not possible. Then, here, what is the inner meaning we have to understand? Just by seeing and listening that time, if our mind is not focused in that, then all those things will not create impressions. And one more thing, intentionally, if we want to enjoy something, then that will bind us. And one more thing here we have to understand, to sustain this body, few things should be taken care. We have to eat food, we have to drink water, we have to have shelter, we should have clothes, etc. Few things are required, and few things are required for transactions also. But what here it is said that Vishaya means that which is causing hesitation in our mind, that which is causing desire, that which is going to create desire in our mind, that time we have to be very careful. When we see the object, we see as object, no problem. When we see the object as object of enjoyment, then there is the problem. Please understand the difference. In this world, so many things are there. In fact, we don't want to get all those things. When we have the thought of enjoyment, then only that object will bind. See, objects themselves, they will not come to near us. And they will not tell us, use me, or see me, or listen. They will not say. Because objects, Vishayas, they themselves are inert in nature. We ourselves, we are going near to them and we want to enjoy. This is one aspect. Another aspect, Vishaya means not only objects, means Jada Vastu, even in relationships also, human beings, people. In fact, when we analyze more this point, attachment with objects means Jada Vastus can be overcome easily comparing with attachment with people in relationships. Because when we are having attachment with other persons, other people, it's very difficult to cut such kind of attachment because subtle in nature. So here it is said the Vishaya is when just seeing and listening also sometimes it will bind us, it will cause sorrow. Next sloka. Next 2-3 slokas also connecting to the same thought. Why Shankaracharya is emphasizing this point? Because it's very important for a spiritual seeker. That's why Shama Dhamma are required. Vishayasha Mahapashat. Vishayasha Mahapashat. Yo Vimukta Sudustyejat. Yo Vimukta Sudustyejat. Sayeva Kalpate Mukyai. Sayeva Kalpate Mukyai. Nanya Shet Shastra Vedyapi. Nanya Shet Shastra Vedyapi. Vishayasha Mahapashat. Vishaya Asha Mahapashat. From the binding ropes of desires for sense objects, Vishaya, sense objects, Asha means desires. Mahapasha, Mahapasha means that which is very powerful in nature. Pasha means rope, ropes. So from the binding ropes of all kinds of desires for sense objects, Yo. Yo means here we have to take yaha, whoever. Yaha. Vimuktaha sudustyajat. Yaha vimuktaha is liberated. Sudustyajat. Sudustyajat. Tyaja means to give up. Sudustyajat means so very difficult to renounce. It's not easy just to leave it. Attachments are very powerful. Sudustyajat. Saha eva. Saha, that person. Eva, alone. Who is that person? One who could remove or one who could give up all kinds of ropes of attachments. Saha eva, that person alone. Kalpate. Kalpate means he deserves, he becomes fit. For what? Muktiyai, for liberation. To get liberation, he has to come out from all kinds of attachments, bondages. Na anyaha. Na anyaha means by any other means it is not possible. Na anyaha, none else. Even Shet Shastra Vedyapi. Shastra Vedi api. Even that person may be well versed in Shet Darshanas. Shet means 6. Shet Darshanas means 6 schools of philosophy. Earlier also once we have seen this point, I think. What are the 6 schools of philosophy? Earlier we discussed this one. Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa. This Purva Mimamsa also called Karma Kanda, about rituals, etc. said in Vedas. Uttara Mimamsa means Vedanta, Upanishadic Jnana. That person may be well versed in all these 6 schools of philosophy, means he is having such kind of scriptural knowledge, but if his mind is clinging, means hanging to something, if his mind is attached to something, extreme attachment is there, then that person cannot realize the self. No, why? Because he knows all these shastras, he studied all these things. Why he cannot get liberation? It is said, one who studies this Vedanta, etc., they will Vedanta, Upanishadic knowledge, that person will get liberation, it is said. Yes, that is true. One who receives self-knowledge, he will get liberation. But to receive that self-knowledge, first he should have deservedness, fitness, arhata should be there. By just getting information, transformation will not take place. To get transformation, that person should be free from all kinds of attachments. When we are listening these things, we will be thinking, for us, is it possible or not? Here it is said, one who studied even Shet Darshanas also, that person also cannot realize, then what to talk about us? Please don't get frightened. Whatever here said is simple thing. When we have extreme attachment, then we cannot get liberation, mukti. Then what should be done? That attachment should be removed. Is it easy to remove it? It is a little bit difficult, but it is not impossible. We can. That's why what we can do, as Mahatmas all the time they are saying, even Bhagwan himself said in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha gruhyate. This mind can be controlled and we can come out from all kinds of attachments by abhyasa and vairagya. So many sadhanas prescribed for this, and practically what we can do as spiritual seekers, mumukshus, first we have to introspect ourselves. Atma Parisilana should be done. Self introspection. How we have to do that? First, we have to think how many kinds of attachments are there. In this world, so many kinds of things will be there, but our mind will be having attached to few things only, not everything, by God's grace. Because so many things are there. If our mind will be getting attached to everything and everyone, oh, how it will be. Because of our past actions, because of our vasanas, so our mind and senses will be attracted towards a few things and will be having attachments with few things. So what we have to do? First, we have to think what are our attachments. First, we will take objects. See, this is practical way of sadhana. You think what are the objects are required for you, means what are the objects required for us. All of us, we can apply this thing. What are the objects we required? What are the objects we want to enjoy? Separate. Objects are required to sustain this body, to lead little bit comfortable life. It's fine. And we have to think whether we are having attachment with them or not. How we come to know whether we attach to that thing, that person or not? Simple thing. Without that object, shall I remain happy or not? Without that object, can I live or not? A few people will be saying, without this one, I cannot live at all. Without this person, I cannot live at all. That's a dialogues, no? Go on saying. We have to think, spiritual seekers. Is there any object in our mind without that we cannot live? We cannot survive at all. Note down. Write on the paper. Really speaking, if we think like this, we will come to know, in fact, we are not attached to so many things. Without fan, we can live, no? We can survive. So we are not attached to fan. Okay, simple example. One person is he is having such kind of feeling all the time. He wants to eat delicious food and sweets, so many sweets, different kinds of sweets, like that. When that person feeling like that, he has to test himself. Without those things, can he be happy or not? Can he survive or not? So attached to sweets, simple example. Attached to sweets, of course, some people, they may be having extreme attachment towards food items and few objects. Please note them and slowly think, in my life, if these things are not there, what will happen? I will be all the time miserable? No, na? Think. If that person will not eat sweets, will he die? No. Other food is available, he can eat. And one more thing, see, in our traditions also, wonderful kinds of what you call achara vyavaharas are there. When we go to Kasi, in Kasi, we have to give up something. I have gone to Kashi and I gave up that one. So now onwards, I should not eat that one. I should not drink that one. People will be saying, no? And that too, it is said, when you go to Kashi, whatever, when you want to give up something, when you want to renounce something, whichever you like, that one you renounce, it is said. Yes. Why it is said? For this reason only, you should have control over your senses and mind. You should come out from that attachment, that which is causing bondage to you. See, thought behind that one. Go to Kashi, whatever you like, give up that one, renounce that. One person, he loves to eat apple, daily, apple. That person, when he go to Kashi, that Pandit said to us, you have to give up whichever favorite fruit you are eating. He said, apple, and then renounce. I have to renounce. Yes, if you renounce that one, you like that one, you are renouncing and you are giving to Bhagwan. Bhagwan will be pleased. Then that person, he said, yes, I gave up that one. Renounced. On festival days, cooking all delicious kinds of foods, but fasting. Don't eat. Why? Don't eat. That is upavasa. Why it is said again? To control our senses and mind. Not only that, whether we are attached to those things or not, to test ourselves. Without eating them also we can be happy. Understand? And you yourself, you can think, you can note what are the objects you are attached. House. Some people will be having extreme attachment with their house. Wherever I will go, when I come to home, when I sit in my house, then I will be happy. It's like Swargaloka. They will be saying, no, my house is like Swargaloka. That is okay, Baba, comfortable. You can spend time and you can be happy in your home. No problem. But please don't have extreme attachment. Without that house, I cannot live. Don't say like that, please, because your house means your body itself rented. It's not permanent. Just you came as tenant and you will go one day. Then how can you say my house, that which is built with bricks and cement? No, attachment. That is sentiments. Okay, we will give respect to sentiments, but please understand, those things should not become obstacles in the pursuit of higher truth. Those things should not become bondages. Those things should not create problems and sorrows. So that's why here it is said, those who have given up all kinds of Asha, Mahapasha, that person only will get liberation. We discussed about objects. Now come to persons. It's a little bit, not little bit, very difficult only. How to detach from the people. We should have love for everyone, respect for everyone. That divine love should be there, because in everyone Bhagwan is there. That is fine. But when we depend for our happiness and seeking all the time happiness from the other person, will create attachment. Now I cannot give any examples. You yourself think and you will come to know mind is attached to whom. And just think, without that person, can you live or not? Without that person, can you be happy or not? We have to do this analysis. Otherwise, we cannot progress. See, now in this world, so many kinds of varieties are there. Objects are available. Various kinds of relationships are there. So many people are there. But our mind is not attached to each and every object and each and every person. Not like that, by God's grace. So our mind is attached to few objects and few persons. And that too, why we have to understand, and we have to think whether that feeling we are having in our mind, that ishta, that like, is it selfish kind of thing or selfish? This is one thing. Another point, when our mind is attached to something, how we are feeling? Is it giving more happiness? It should not be so-called happiness, apparent kind of happiness. It appears as though giving happiness, but it's binding. Again, in our Shastras, so many examples given. Because of attachment, what happened? Jadabharata story you might have heard. The great emperor, he left everything, he renounced everything. He went to ashrama and he was doing the tapas. When he saw one little kind of child of that deer, he brought that one to ashram and taking care of that one, and this what happened, get attached to that, and the next life he was born as deer because of that attachment. So in our lives, just we have to think, our mind is connected and attached to what? Slowly what we have to do, we have to work out on that one. Slowly we have to get detached. Here detaching means we should not throw the objects, we should not hate the people. That's not the meaning. What is the meaning here? In our mind, we should not depend for our happiness completely upon anything, object or person. Give happiness to others. Love others. Don't beg all the time. Use the objects. And don't think without those objects I cannot live at all. When we came into this world, what we brought? Nothing. Buildings, objects, people. We didn't bring anything in this world, to this world. And when we are going to give up this body at the time of death, what we are going to take along with us? Nothing. Even small needle also will not come along with us. But if person is not alert enough, if he is not Viveki Purusha, if he is not doing any kind of sadhana, these attachments with the objects and people will lead to the next birth, definitely. That's why. Who will get liberation? One who is not having attachments, he will get liberation. Studying scriptures, one thing, but realizing truth is another. That's why here it is said, Shastra, Vedapi, even that person knows all schools of philosophy, but if his mind is attached to something or other, he cannot get that complete freedom. Mukti is not possible. Next sloka, just we will read today. Tomorrow we will see the meaning of it. Apata vairagyavato muksho. Apata vairagyavato muksho. Bhavabdiparam pratiyatu mudyatam. Bhavabdiparam pratiyatu mudyatam. Ashamaho majjayatentarale. Not Ashamaho, Ashagraho. Graha means crocodile. Ashagraho majjayatentarale. Nigruhya kanthe vinivartya vegat. Nigruhya kanthe vinivartya vegat. With one powerful kind of example, Shankaracharya ji is explaining, if that person is not having complete detachment and dispassion, and if he wants to get liberation, it is not at all going to be possible. Tomorrow we will see this. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya మృత్యోర్మా అమృతంగమయ. ఓం పూర్ణమదః పూర్ణమిదం పూర్ణాత్ పూర్ణముదచ్యతే పూర్ణస్య పూర్ణమాదాయ పూర్ణమేవావశిష్యతే. ఓం శాంతి శాంతి శాంతి. హరి ఓం. శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. హరి ఓం. విషయాలు అన్నటువంటివి విషము కంటే కూడా ఇంకా శక్తివంతమైనటువంటివి అని చెప్తున్నారు. కృష్ణ సర్పం యొక్క విషము అది తీసుకున్నప్పుడు మాత్రమే, అది మింగినప్పుడు తాగినప్పుడు మాత్రమే మరణానికి కారణం అవుతుంది. కానీ విషయాలు అన్నటువంటివి కేవలం చూడడం వల్ల, జస్ట్ అలా చూసినా విన్నా కూడా ఆ విషయాలు మనిషి యొక్క పతనానికి కారణమవుతాయి, మరణానికి కారణమవుతాయి. ఇక్కడ మరణము అంటే పతనము అని చెప్పుకోవచ్చు. అజామిల ఉపాఖ్యానంలో, భాగవతంలో చెప్పినటువంటి కథలో, అజామిలుడు ఎంతో ఉన్నతమైన కుటుంబంలో జన్మించినప్పటికీ, మంచి సంస్కారవంతుడై ఉన్నప్పటికీ కూడా అడవికి వెళ్ళి ఒకసారి పువ్వులు సమిధలు తీసుకొని వస్తూ దారిలో చూడకూడనటువంటి ఒక దృశ్యాన్ని చూడడం వల్ల ఆయన మనసు అలజడికి లోనయ్యి తర్వాత గృహాన్ని కూడా వదిలిపెట్టి ఒక చెడ్డ స్త్రీతో నివసిస్తూ అనేక సంవత్సరాలు అక్కడే జీవించడము జరుగుతుంది. ఆయన చివరి దశలో భగవంతుని నామస్మరణ చేసి భగవంతుని అనుగ్రహంతో ఉన్నత స్థితిని పొందడం జరుగుతుంది. ఎంతో మంది ఈ విషయాల యొక్క శక్తి గుర్తించకుండా ఏముందిలే, తింటే ఏముంది, తాగితే ఏముంది, చూస్తే ఏముంది, ఇలా అనుకోవడం వల్ల ఆ నిర్లక్ష్య భావంతో కూడా ఒక్కొక్కసారి ఆ విషయాలని అనుభవించినప్పుడు అవి మనస్సులో ముద్రలు ఏర్పరిచి తరువాత అనేక రకాల కోరికలకి దారి తీయడము, తర్వాత పతనానికి కారణం కూడా అవుతాయని చెప్తున్నాను. అందుకోసమని విషము కంటే విషపూరితమైనటువంటి విషయాలతో చాలా జాగ్రత్తగా ఉండాలని చెప్తున్నారు. ఇందాక చెప్పుకున్నటువంటి దానిలో ఎవరైతే ఈ విషయ వ్యామోహాలన్నింటినీ, తాదాత్మ్యతలన్నింటినీ వదులుకోగలుగుతారో అటువంటి వాళ్ళు మాత్రమే ముక్తిని పొందటానికి అర్హులవుతారు. అంతేకాని షట్శాస్త్ర విధుడై ఉన్నప్పటికీ కూడా న్యాయ, వైశేషిక, మీమాంస, యోగ ఇవన్నీ కూడా చదివినప్పటికీ కూడా, వేదాంతము కూడా చదివినప్పటికీ కూడా మనస్సు అన్నటువంటిది దేని పట్ల ఇలా తాదాత్మ్యత కలిగి ఉన్నట్లయితే, అటాచ్మెంట్ ఉన్నట్లయితే మోక్షం అన్నటువంటిది లభించదని చెప్తున్నారు. మనకి పురాణ ఇతిహాస అనేక కథల్లో చూసినప్పుడు ఒక చిన్న ఆలోచన మనిషి లోపల ఎటువంటి పరిస్థితిని కల్పించి తరువాత జన్మలకి కారణమవుతుంది అన్నటువంటిది కూడా చెప్పుకున్నారు. జడభరతుల కథ గురించి ఇందాక చెప్పుకున్నాము. గొప్ప రాజు అయి ఉండి అన్నింటినీ వదిలిపెట్టి ఆయన సాధన చేసుకోవడానికి వెళ్తే చివరిలో ఒక చిన్న జింక పిల్ల పట్ల ఆయనకి ఆసక్తి కలిగి, తాదాత్మ్యత కలిగి తరువాత ఆయనే ఒక జింకగా పుట్టాల్సి వచ్చింది. మనము ఈ విషయ తాదాత్మ్యతల నుంచి, అటాచ్మెంట్స్ నుంచి ఎలా బయటపడగలుగుతాము అంటే ఎవరికి వాళ్ళము ఆత్మ పరిశీలన చేసుకొని మనకి ఏ వస్తువుల పట్ల తాదాత్మ్యత ఉంది, ఏ వ్యక్తుల పట్ల తాదాత్మ్యత ఉంది గుర్తించాల్సి ఉంటుంది. మొదట భగవంతుని అనుగ్రహం వల్ల ప్రతి ఒక్క వస్తువు పట్ల, ప్రతి ఒక్క వ్యక్తి పట్ల మనకేమి తాదాత్మ్యత లేదు, కలగటం లేదు. మనకు ఇంతకు ముందు ఉన్న సంస్కారాలు, వాసల్ని బట్టి, లేకపోతే మనకున్న కోరికల్ని బట్టి, కొన్ని పరిస్థితులని బట్టి, కొన్నింటి పట్ల, కొన్ని వస్తువుల పట్ల, కొంతమంది వ్యక్తుల పట్ల తాదాత్మ్యత అన్నటువంటిది కలుగుతుంది. మనం ఏం చెయ్యాలి అంటే సాధకులుగా ఉన్నటువంటి వాళ్ళు ఏ వస్తువుల పట్ల తాదాత్మ్యత ఉంది, ఏ వ్యక్తుల పట్ల తాదాత్మ్యత ఉంది గుర్తించి ఆ వస్తువులు లేకపోతే, ఆ వ్యక్తులు లేకపోతే మనం ఆనందంగా ఉండలేమా, మనం బ్రతకలేమా అసలు ఒకసారి ఆలోచించాలి. అవి లేకుండా నేను ఉండలేను, నేను బ్రతకలేను అంటున్నామంటే మనకి ఆ మేరకు అటాచ్మెంట్ ఉన్నట్లు, తాదాత్మ్యత ఉన్నట్లు. ఈ వస్తువు ఉంటే ఓకే, లేకపోయినా కూడా పర్వాలేదు అనుకుంటున్నామంటే మనకి ఆ వస్తువు పట్ల నిజంగా తాదాత్మ్యత లేదు. అవి వదిలేసైనా మనం ఆనందంగా ఉండగలం. మరి వ్యక్తుల విషయానికి వచ్చినప్పుడు ఏం చెయ్యాలి అంటే మాట్లాడకుండా వదిలేయడం అట్లాంటివన్నీ కాదు. మానసికంగా ఆనందం కోసము పూర్తిగా అవతలి వాళ్ళ మీద ఆధారపడకూడదు. ఒకరికి ఆనందాన్ని, ప్రేమని ఇచ్చేలాగా, పంచేలాగా ఉండాలి. బానిసలు కాకూడదు అని చెప్తున్నాను. ఈ తాదాత్మ్యతలో ఏమవుతుందంటే వ్యక్తి తన స్వాతంత్రాన్ని కోల్పోతాడు, అవతలి వ్యక్తి స్వాతంత్రాన్ని కూడా కోల్పోయేలాగా చేయడం జరుగుతుంది. దైవికమైన ప్రేమలో ఇద్దరు ఉన్నతంగా ఎదగడం జరుగుతుంది. ఏ సంబంధ బాంధవ్యాల్లో అయినా తీసుకోండి మీరు. ఒకవేళ అది అటాచ్మెంట్ అయినట్లయితే మాత్రం అది అనేక విధాలైనటువంటి సమస్యలకే కారణం అవుతుంది. ధృతరాష్ట్రునికి దుర్యోధన పుత్రుల పట్ల ఉన్నటువంటి ఆ వ్యామోహం, అటాచ్మెంట్ కారణంగా ఎంత అధార్మికమైనటువంటి పనులన్నీ చేయడం జరిగింది. సో మన జీవితాల్లో మనకి వేటి పట్ల తాదాత్మ్యత ఉంది మొదట గుర్తించాలి. తర్వాత నెమ్మదిగా ఆ తాదాత్మ్యతని తొలగించుకోవడానికి ప్రయత్నం చేయాలి. అందుకోసమని మనకి అనేక సాంప్రదాయాలు, అనేక విధాలైన సాధనలు అన్నటువంటివి బోధ చేయడము జరిగింది. కాశీకి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు ఏదైనా ఇష్టమైంది వదిలేసారండి అని చెప్తారు. ఎందుకంటే దాని పట్ల ఉన్న అటాచ్మెంట్ తొలగిపోతుంది. భగవంతుని పట్ల మనకి భక్తి పెరుగుతూ ఉండే కొద్దీ మిగతా వాటి పట్ల ఉన్న అటాచ్మెంట్ తగ్గిపోతూ వస్తుంది. అనేక విధాలైన వస్తువులు కావాలి, చీరలు, నగలు, ధనము, పదవులు, పొజిషన్ ఎన్నెన్నో కావాలనుకునే వ్యక్తి ఒకనొక స్థాయికి వెళ్ళిపోయిన తర్వాత ఇవన్నీ లేకపోయినా నేను ప్రశాంతంగా ఆనందంగా ఉండగలను అని అనిపిస్తుంది. అఫ్కోర్స్ మనం ఈ ప్రపంచంలో ఉన్నప్పుడు వ్యవహారానికి తగినట్లుగా, మనకు ఉన్నటువంటి పాత్రకి తగినట్లుగా మనం అన్ని చేయాల్సి ఉంటుంది. కానీ మానసికంగా మనకి దేని పట్ల తాదాత్మ్యత ఉండకూడదు. కొంతమంది మహాత్ములు చూస్తే కొంతమంది అనుకుంటుంటారు, అసలు వీళ్ళకి మనసు అంటూ ఉందా లేదా? ఎందుకంటే ఏంటో ఒక్కొక్కసారి అసలు వాళ్ళు ఎన్ని సంవత్సరాల నుంచి పరిచయం ఉన్నా, ఎన్ని సంవత్సరాల నుంచి ఎంతో అన్ని కలిసినా కూడా ఒకసారి ఏదో కొత్త వాళ్ళని చూసినట్లుగా కొత్త వాళ్ళగా మాట్లాడుతూ అట్లా ఉంటారు, చేస్తూ. ఒక్కోసారి ఏంటి వీళ్ళు అసలు పట్టించుకోరు, వాళ్ళ కొద్దీ వాళ్ళు ఉంటారు. అరే వాళ్ళకి అర్థమైపోయింది ఏంటి, వ్యక్తులు, వస్తువులు ఇవన్నీ శాశ్వతము కాదు. అలాని ఎవరిని ఇబ్బంది పెట్టాలని కూడా కాదు. ప్రాపంచిక వ్యక్తుల్లాగా ఇంకా మహాత్ములు కూడా అన్నింటికి పట్టుకొని ఉంటే ఎలా ఉంటుంది? మహాత్ములది ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే అది దైవికమైన ప్రేమ, అవసరమైనప్పుడు వ్యక్తం చేస్తారు. ప్రాపంచిక వ్యక్తుల్లాగా తాదాత్మ్యత ఉండదు. వాళ్ళ స్థితి ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే ఎప్పుడు కావాలనుకున్నా దేన్నైనా ఎవరినైనా వదిలేస్తారు. అంత కఠినమా? ఇది కఠినము కాదు, ఇదే వైరాగ్యం. ఆశాపాశాలు వదులుకోగలిగినటువంటి వాళ్ళకే మోక్షము లభిస్తుంది. కొంతమంది మంచి గృహస్థులు ఎంత అద్భుతమైనటువంటి భావాన్ని కలిగి ఉంటారంటే అందరూ ఇంట్లో ఒకరినొకరు ప్రేమిస్తారు, గౌరవిస్తూ ఉంటారు, ఎవరికి ఏం కావాలన్నా అన్ని చూసుకుంటూ ఉంటారు. కానీ అటాచ్మెంట్ ఉండదు. ఆ అటాచ్మెంట్ లేకపోవడం వల్ల ఆ ఇంట్లో ప్రశాంతత, ఆనందం ఉంటుంది. ఒకసారి ఆలోచించండి. అదేంటమ్మా ఎక్కువ రాగం, అటాచ్మెంట్ ఉంటేనే కదా ఎక్కువ ఆనందం ఉంటుంది? నో, కాదు. ప్రేమ వేరు, దైవికమైన ప్రేమ వేరు, అమితమైనటువంటి రాగము, అటాచ్మెంట్ వేరు. ఇది గుర్తించగలిగితే మనము, అవతలి వాళ్ళు కూడా ప్రశాంతంగా, ఆనందంగా ఉంటారు. ఇంకా వస్తువుల దగ్గరికి వచ్చినప్పుడు అవి మనము ప్రేమగా వాటిని ఇష్టపడుతున్నామని వాటికి తెలియదు. అవి లేకుండా మనం ఉండలేమని చెప్తున్నామని కూడా వాటికి తెలియదు. కాబట్టి వస్తువులతో ఉన్నటువంటి తాదాత్మ్యతని మనము కొంచెం ఆలోచించినట్లయితే సులభంగా వదిలేయవచ్చు. ఇవన్నీ ప్రాక్టికల్ గా సాధకుడు ఆలోచించవలసినటువంటివి. ఎవరి పట్ల తాదాత్మ్యత ఉంది, దేని పట్ల తాదాత్మ్యత ఉంది? నేను దేన్నైనా వదిలేస్తాను, ఎవరినైనా వదులుకుంటాను, కానీ నిన్ను మాత్రం వదలనే. అయిపోయింది, వచ్చే జన్మలో మళ్ళీ పుట్టాల్సి వస్తుంది. సో జాగ్రత్తగా ఉండాల్సి ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. ముక్తి కావాలి అంటే సంపూర్ణ వైరాగ్యం కావాలి. రేపటి రోజున ఎవరైనా తాదాత్మ్యత, ఒకవైపు అటాచ్మెంట్ ఉంటుంది, ఇంకోవైపు ముక్తి కూడా పొందుతాము అని ప్రయత్నం చేస్తూ ఉంటే వాళ్ళ పరిస్థితి ఎలా ఉంటుంది అన్నటువంటిది శంకరాచార్యుల వారు తర్వాత శ్లోకంలో 79వ శ్లోకంలో చెప్పబోతున్నారు. రేపటి రోజున చెప్పుకుందాం. ఓం శాంతి శాంతి శాంతి. హరి ఓం. శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. హరి ఓం.